And welcome back. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever this one finds you today. My name is Dylan, representative of Indie. No, that's not quite right. Friends of the table today. We're repping the shirts, getting the branding out there for our lovely friends. And today, with our lovely nameplates, you'll see that I have the lovely Lukanis from Friends at the Table. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So today we're here to talk about a new game that's coming to crowdfunding. Even though we spoke to Lucanis before, I know, but indies they make new games and they're lots of fun. So we're here talking about crowdfunding. What game have you got for us today?
So today this is launch day for Nothing Left But to Cry, which is a game all about existential dread and crises and coping mechanisms.
Yeah, okay. It feels very topical. What was the inspiration for a game like this?
Yeah, well, so this game was born during the pandemic. I was like everybody, just watching the whole world burn down, and one day I was I think it was a shower thought actually. Yeah, I was like, oh, I should make a game out of this, and so uh, it sort of stayed in the concept folder while I was working on our first game, Those Who Dare. But once that was out, we decided this was the next best one to go for because we thought 2020 was going to be like, I mean, we knew we lived through the pandemic and that sucked, but then we thought the world would probably normalize a bit after that, but it didn't. Instead, it just kept staying on fire with new fires just coming out constantly. And so turns out there's a lot of good um, inspiration since 2020 for a game about existential dread and all the things that go wrong in the world.
Yeah, look, I totally can understand. Yeah, Melbourne down here was probably, I think, closest to one of the biggest reactions to the whole pandemic. And yeah, we've heard of a lot of games that came out during that time. A lot of people got inspired to, take the creative pathway of making tabletop games because we couldn't do board game nights really anymore unless you were very adept doing online stuff. So makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So
Mhm.
give us a little bit of a rundown of how the game goes. You talk about like crises. What kind of crises?
So it's a super easy game to play. It's a party card game, so you can play it with your friends. You can learn it in 2 minutes. A round only takes 5, 10 minutes, depending on how many players you've got.
Very
And you've
standard.
got two decks of cards. You've got a deck of crises, like these. This one here is an asshole gets elected, which seems to happen very regularly.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
the pandemic itself that inspired the game. We've got, the climate crisis. We've got all kinds of things. Your friend gets an awful partner. All the things that could happen and have happened in our real lives that make life suck. So each round, one of those comes out, and everybody has to cope. So then you've got a deck of coping mechanisms like these. Like this one is taking a group trip. So each round, when you get your crisis, everyone has to play some kind of a coping mechanism, like guilt tripping people, or like joining a run club, or gaslighting their friends or partners. I keep going the wrong way. So yeah, everybody has to play a coping mechanism to cope with the crisis, but a lot of cope mechanisms are maladaptive, so they're going to hurt other people around you. So the idea is that as you play, the more coping mechanisms people play, those coping mechanisms will interact with each other, they'll trigger other players, they'll have other strange and weird and wacky effects that are going to get in other players' way. And so eventually you'll all be on these shrinking icebergs of your mental health until you've got nothing left but to cry, which is the name of the game. So it's sort of like a race to the bottom. It's super easy to play. You'll screw your friends over accidentally. Some of them will probably do it deliberately,
Yeah.
and but that's okay because then there's a well, I guess you could restart and play again, unlike in real life. So yeah,
Let's hope the friendships last the first game, and then yeah, absolutely, we'll ring out for another game. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Oh, the thing that gets me is that it's a great way to start the conversation for those sort of things. Like there's a thing of like being able to talk about like the things you go through and the problems, and that's like there's a catharsis in that. Whether you do it
Hmm.
like personally or professionally, which we highly encourage. Like I know that
Yeah,
one of the coping mechanisms is therapy, and you guys say it's
correct.
it's great. You guys should do it. And we
Yeah.
wholly agree. It's a great time to it's a great thing. Self reflection is great. You heard it here first on our first double feature of Friends of the Table. Um,
Yeah, that's right. I personally have had uh, a rich mental health journey throughout my life, so I'm very big on promoting, you know, being open and communicating about it. Like I know some of these topics can get spicy for some people, but overall, like we like to try and normalize that, everybody goes through difficult times, even things we do that, do hurt other people. Like these are usually coping mechanisms, like people who, for example, like there's, judgmental in here, and people who are judgmental, there's probably something that happened in their life that made them judgmental.
mm.
People that ghost other people, like, people often do that because somebody ghosted them and they want to be the one to do it first, like there's all kinds of reasons why. And yeah, these things still suck. But actually, like uh, opening up the conversation about them and giving people that chance to think about them in a more normalized, rather than thinking about these things as things that have to be kept hidden and, you know, left in the closet, then
Yep.
nothing gets done. So yeah, the idea is that, we put all this relatable content in the game and we can all have a laugh about it, and hopefully people can think about it a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. I've always been an advocate for it, not like facing every fear that you have or things that cause problems, but like being able to approach them in a light-hearted way means that like when it gets to the rougher end of stuff, like you can look at it with like that little bit of like we've stepped into the pool rather than diving into the deep end, which yeah,
Yeah.
great way to do it, especially for gamifying the experience. I feel like it will be a thing that people can like again just start that little piece of conversation, which we love. We love here for it.
Yeah.
Mental health is a massive thing that we should all take as seriously as we can.
Yeah. I mean, when I first autism diagnosis in like 2022, there were a lot of things in my life that like now I'm like, oh no, that's so autistic. Like but beforehand, some of those things were things that like, maybe I thought were a bit weird about me, or just like not common behaviors or ways to deal with things. And yeah, like I'm sure that some people will take a look at some of the cards in this deck of coping mechanisms and go, "Holy shit! That's something I do. That's a coping mechanism."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's things that we do that like it's meant to just make us feel good, like or like to help with like the crises that we face every day. Like then these are the
Mm,
things that we do to just sort of like get by. Which hey, sometimes they're good for us, sometimes they're not so good, but we manage and we get through to the next day. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
exactly.
So you've got obviously quite a few years of inspiration when it comes to the COVID years. Like a lot of things were happening. Where else have you like sourced like coping mechanisms, crises? How do you get inspiration for stuff like that?
So it comes pretty much constantly ever since I started working on this game. Every week or couple of weeks, I'll see a new behavior, or the crises are easy because scarcely a month can go by without me going, okay, well now I have to put this in the deck. Like, okay, now we've got an oil crisis now, and before after COVID we had the cost of living crisis, and we had a new housing crisis, and that it kind of never ends. And so it's
Yo.
the idea is that this game is relatable, so that's pretty easy. Like in our first take of this interview,
Oh, don't call us
when
out like that. Oh,
you mentioned some astrology stuff, and I realized that that's for some people that's a coping mechanism. That's one that I can put into the game, and I probably will because we've still got a little bit of time for tweaking a few cards before the end of the crowdfunding campaign. So there's all kinds of things people do to make themselves feel like they've got control, or to help distance themselves from. We actually we categorize the coping mechanisms into 5 different categories, which, this is by no means a diagnostic tool, but we've got obsession, we've got avoidance, we've got isolation, we've got expense, and we've got health, because all of these things are sort of like categories in ways people try to get away from the things that they don't like in their life. So, you can use isolation. You can literally just like cut yourself off from other people in your life. You can use avoidance, where you avoid that specific topic. You know, you can use obsession, like for example, I might get really, really deeply into a specific game for a while and obsess deeply over that until I get to ignore everything else in my life. Or you can, buy your way out. You can go, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like go take a holiday, or I'm gonna go on a massive shopping spree or something, and that's gonna make me feel better. And these are all valid ways to deal with them, but yeah, they are sometimes not so great for the people around you.
Yeah, wholly agree. And yes, this is the second take. We had some fun audio issues the first time round, but look, that's the beauties of working with smaller indies, and even myself as an independent person, single guy.
Yep.
But look, we persevere, we persevere. But we're still hopefully you're enjoying this one, and that you'll back the game as well. Like it goes live literally today, 6 p.m.
Yeah, 5 hours
AEST. Yeah, 5 hours from now.
from this time of recording. So
Yeah. Not the first one. That was a different time.
Mm.
But yeah. So, where can people go? What crowdfunding site are you using? Can you give us a little bit of detail about like what sort of things you're offering with the game? What kind of cool stuff we might get?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's on Kickstarter, and so if you search "Nothing Left But to Cry" on Kickstarter, you'll find it. If you just Google Kickstarter "Nothing Left But to Cry," it'll be the top result. And so we've got a few tiers to back at for people with their different situations, and they're very vibes based. So our first tier is the "This Is Fine" tier. And so that's 40 Australian dollars, which is about just over 20 euros, 24 USD.
Yeah.
And so that's everything you need. It's the full game. It's all the crises, all the coping mechanisms, everything you need to take a copy with you down to your friend's house, a party, a bar, and have a few funny rounds. Then we've got the "I'm Not Crying, You're Crying" tier. And so this is the same. It includes two mini expansions though. So it's 50 AUD. So for your extra $10, you get two mini expansions. One of them is the Personal Crisis mini expansion, and this ratchets up the punchiness. It kind of turns it into a real PvP game. So in the Personal Crises, there are ways to give people crises that are just for them, like your dad's dating somebody younger than you. And so you can throw these roadblocks in front of other players to try and stop them getting too far ahead, or maybe punishing the furthest behind person. It depends how nasty your friends are. But if you've got the kind of group that wants to hurt each other while your mental health is all collapsing, then that's the expansion for you. The other one is the Silver Spoons expansion, which is all about making the game a little bit softer. So instead, this one introduces a bunch of game changes. Everybody gets one at the start of a game, and it gives players some different ways of interacting. So, for example, if you have the Silver Spoon game changer, then when you've got cards that block specific, well, in this case, the expense icon, like on the cost of living crisis, normally that would mean, you can't buy your way out of the cost of living crisis, so you couldn't do things like pay for expensive therapy. But if you happen to be the player who was born with the silver spoon in your mouth, you can just ask mummy and daddy to pay for it for you, so you get to ignore that blocker. There's a bunch of others, so that players have different unique ways of interacting with the game while you're playing. So that's the second tier. Then we've got the "I'm Holding On by a Thread." Now this is the tier for those people that I mentioned earlier who do a shopping spree when they need to cope with things. This is the fancy version of the game. It comes in a nice fancy magnetic folding box, and it includes an additional tool to help you cope, because it actually comes with a deck of cocktail recipes and mocktail recipes. So we partnered with Pixel Bar and Cafe down here in Melbourne. It's a absolutely phenomenal gamer bar. I strongly recommend everybody go if you haven't. And if you have the chance, I mean, don't get on a plane to go, but if you're in Melbourne, it's
Sure, the
definitely
guys at
worth
Pixel
checking out.
would really appreciate it though if you told them that.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. So they helped us make a little series of cocktail cards, so you can mix a drink to enjoy while you're playing. And it comes with everything in the previous tier. And then finally, we've got limited availability for the "I Am the Darkness" tier. This is just for really enthusiastic people who have a great idea for their own crisis or cope mechanism. Because if you back at that tier, there's only 4 available. But if anybody does back that tier, then we'll work with them to create a crisis or cope mechanism of their choice. And that will go out to everyone in their copies. So Yeah, that's it.
Wow, love it, love it. Especially because you're bringing like allowing people to like have impact or like impact on everyone else's game, so they
Yeah.
can either like shine a light or like something for their friend. I can imagine like someone who's like been trying to help someone with a maybe healthy but unhealthy in their own eyes coping mechanisms. Like now everyone
Mhm.
in the world is gonna know, even though you're nameless in it, everyone's gonna know.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait to find that one vindictive friend who's going to be doing that, tidying up for the Eye in the Darkness tier. Oof, oof, that's going to be
Buy,
fun.
buy that tier just to call one person out. Now
Yeah.
that's a power move.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Mad respect on that one. You guys will get
Yeah.
some big kudos points from me.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. I can just imagine, yeah, somebody creating a uh yeah, what would I call it? You could be like a really good example of an annoying thing that some people do, like people who talk about their crypto all the time. Like you could make that suggestion, help us make the caption, and we could make the caption something like "Stop talking about your crypto, Dave."
yeah. 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 Oh my lord,
Yeah,
that would be fantastic. Oh, and
yeah,
again, topical for right
mm,
now.
yep,
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So we know where to get it. It's on Kickstarter. It's funding. It's starting funding in literally 5 hours, probably a little bit less once this video gets out there, because everyone will
yep,
obviously be watching it right away. We know that that happens. And you guys are having a launch party as well in your
we
Discord.
are. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep, on
yeah,
our Discord. Yeah, so at 6 o'clock, me and Craig. I'm the creator. Craig is another friend of the table who'll be joining us as well. So you could jump into our Discord, have a chat with us, chat with other people who just like games, like Existential Dread. From we're here in Melbourne, so it'll be 6 p.m. at I think it's plus 11 over GMT. So
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you're one of those people who live at the nexus of time, then you get to I think it'll be like 7 a.m. or something. But yeah, so um, yeah, feel
Amazing.
free to drop by.
Oh, yeah. I mean, next to time, the Brits, they love a bit of dark humor. I mean, a lot of the films are in that space. They're the masters of deadpan. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Brits, English, you know where it's at. Friends of the table.
Yeah,
Tonight, we'll have all the links down below. I have
yeah,
been Dylan, again and again for the first time, maybe the second time as well, from Friends of the Table, friends of friends of friends of the table. That's me. Uh, Representative from Indiverse.io. Remember, greatest place in the world to get your indie tabletop games. We don't have to wait for crowdfunding. No shade thrown. Sorry, Luke. Um,
mhm,
and we will have all the links for socials, the Kickstarter campaign, and the Discord for the party tonight. For friends at the table down in the description. So jump along, back the game. It's very fun. I have been to a couple of events with it, and I helped promote it at TGX a couple of months ago, it was fantastic. So yeah, jump on in, show them some love, and anything else you wanted to close out with, Luke?
no, that sounds really cool. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some people tonight, and might see a few of you backing the Kickstarter.
Fantabulous, amazing. We love to hear it. Well, I guess if that's everything, we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Great. See ya.